Hello. Today's episode number 63 of the Professor Slots podcast discusses slot machine advantage plays. Plus, in this episode, I'll be covering the current state of slot machine casino gambling in the great U.S. state of Alabama. Thank you for joining me for the Professor Slots podcast show. I'm John Friedel, and this is the podcast about slot machine casino gambling. It is where I provide knowledge, insights, and tools for helping you improve your slot machine gambling performance. In case you missed it, on my last episode, I went over Wyoming Slots 2019. I hope you enjoyed listening to my last episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Let's start with the first segment of the show, Understanding Advantage Play Slots. As a slot machine enthusiast, have you heard intriguing rumors of the secret world of advantage players? Perhaps you saw the Susan B. Anthony used to reward a poorly treated casino reviewer at the end of the third Ocean's movie. Here I separate fact from fantasy. This segment has the following subsections. An introduction. What's an advantage play anyway? Game themes. The team approach. Modern casinos. Sooner or later, advantage plays stop working, and a summary. In the gaming industry, an advantage play occurs whenever a gambler improves their odds of winning using gameplay knowledge not ordinarily available. To help understand the general principle, consider a common non-gaming example, credit card programs. Credit card companies exist offering cash back for purchases. Chase Sapphire and Capital One Silver come to mind. Perhaps you've seen the television commercials with Samuel L. Jackson? A credit card advantage play of such programs is to figure out how to make money, and I mean a lot, of purchases to maximize cash back. For example, perhaps you pay your rent or mortgage with that credit card. Instead of paying directly with a credit card, which typically isn't possible, you could find a reputable company that pays your rent or mortgage by check, while you pay for the service via credit card. If the cash back exceeds the small fee for the exchange, it's an advantage play. Or maybe you're an entrepreneur with an Amazon fulfillment business. Perhaps you buy several items, put them together as a nice kit, then sell the package on Amazon. Why wouldn't you purchase those single items with a cashback credit card? If you sell at high volume, you could push $10,000 or a whole lot more through that credit card each month. An advantage play example from the gaming industry for table games is card counting. This form of advantage play has a long and rich history. There's even a major motion picture about blackjack card counting from 2008 called 21. But we're interested in advantage plays involving slot machine casino gambling. In the next sections, we'll work toward understanding advantage play slots, including my own relatively unique perspective for the modern casino environment. The most popular slots advantage plays discussed online are about specific slot machine game themes. Every game theme has gameplay rules, which might have loopholes of which players can take advantage. The essential approach to game theme advantage plays usually occurs during gameplay, although not always, which I'll discuss in a moment. Class 2 competition-style slot machine game themes typically include a decision point for the player where there is a right or wrong answer. Advantage players figure out in advance which answer is correct, sometimes only after extensive effort and research. The difficulty with this approach is the assumption that it's also an advantage play, which applies to Class 3 Vegas-style games of chance at non-tribal casinos, as well as Class 2 skill-based games typically only available at tribal casinos. Do gameplay advantage plays exist for Class 3 slot machines? Once, they did. It was even somewhat prevalent, even as recently as 30 years ago. But today, not really. What is my justification for this position? It's based on thorough gaming regulations, including state-by-state testing of all game themes by independent laboratories. Very, very few game theme loopholes make it through such rigorous testing. See Advantage Play Against Slots, AP Heat Advantage Play by Elliot Jacobson, Ph.D., published on March 6, 2017. Since this is an audio podcast, you'll need to Google it. But I didn't state that Class 3 slot machine advantage plays don't exist. I said they don't really exist. What do I mean by this? What I meant by this are the several circumstances where advantage plays can exist, if you want to exert the effort to find them. Just keep in mind that any serious advantage player carefully balances energy and cost with potential profit. Put another way, figuring it out must be worth it. Some enterprising online individuals claim to have figured out a few game theme loopholes and share them freely. See Analyzing 4 Different Slots Advantage Play Methods by Randy Ray, published on May 11th, 2019. A few, usually new audience members will ask my opinion for the best slot machines to play. My serious reply is those machines on which you win. Most of my audience agrees. In my opinion, looking for mistakes in game themes that made it past gaming regulators is a waste of time, given how rare this occurrence has become. However, lots of slots players think what casinos want them to think. Play your favorite slot machine game theme because if it's your favorite, you'll win. Such an attitude from your casino isn't gambling advice. It's only marketing. We've discussed game theme decision points and game theme loopholes, but there's more. Another advantage play is to find slot machines with specific game themes played somewhat. A previous player could have paid for getting a slot machine closer to paying out. A typical example is progressive slot machines with a must-win by maximum jackpot. This amount is typically unknown, but extensive observation by an advantage player, an AP, could allow them to figure it out, so they then only play progressives close to this limit. The advantage play approach to progressive slot machines requires a great deal of patience to accomplish. If you're interested in learning more about this approach, see my articles on progressive slots winning strategies. Just go back to episode number 25, Winning Strategy 2 Progressive Slot Machines, or podcast episode 46, reviewing Peter Liston, the Slots King's video interview by ACG. Serious advantage players are typically part of closed communities. When an AP figures out how to take advantage of a slot machine, whether progressive, class 2, or otherwise, they are quite naturally secretive about it. As I'll discuss in a later section, many advantage plays are somewhat fragile. They are undoubtedly expensive in either time or money, sometimes both, to figure out. Therefore, APs will protect them like an investment. But APs sometimes can't figure out an advantage play without a team, or they figure out an advantage play, as with a bank of networked progressive machines close to its jackpot limit, where every seat should have a team member sitting in it for the best chance of a return on investment. Advantage players have figured out that the cheapest way to learn a new advantage play is to watch known advantage players, then do what they do. These APs swoop in at the last moment to try to profit, such as taking one of those seats and an about-to-win bank of progressive slot machines. Finally, it's human nature to brag about our accomplishments. APs can and do make this mistake, but perhaps less often as they gain more experience at advantage plays. However, a regular slots player might put 2 and 2 together after observing an experienced AP winning. After all, most casinos are typically open to the public and often crowded. Another aspect of the team approach is the distraction it can provide. As mentioned previously, card counting has a rich history. In the early days, one of the difficulties with card counting was casino recognition from past winning sessions. What was the card counting AP's response? Disguises. With modern casinos and a requirement for government-issued IDs, disguising an individual is very limited unless you happen to have an identical twin. But you could explain the advantage play you've figured out to a team of trusted individuals, perhaps family members, and then they could perform the advantage play for a predetermined profit share. With modern-day casinos and gaming regulations, slot machine advantage plays have undergone a sea change. It's no longer possible to drop coins with a complicated pattern, which might cause a win, if that advantage play ever worked in the first place. Using terminology from the Ocean's 13 movie, a Susan B. Anthony con doesn't matter any longer because U.S. casinos no longer use coin-operated slot machines, except very rarely. But that doesn't mean advantage plays no longer exist. It means they've changed with the times. Around 2012, slot machine manufacturers started offering operating systems to help casinos handle larger crowd sizes with ease, efficiency, and a smaller workforce. One of those innovations was a central computer server hardwired to every slot machine. With it, casino operators could reduce their army of slots mechanics to a much smaller and therefore cheaper group. Instead of the mechanics changing the odds of winning every 1 to 2 weeks as needed to meet state gaming requirements, the computer server could do it electronically several times a day. In this way, the casino saved money in 2 important ways: a smaller workforce devoted mostly to machine maintenance, and a vast improvement in their ability to meet financial performance metrics from multiple weeks to several times daily. Yet slot machines still operate randomly under these new casino operating systems. But the odds of winning can be remotely adjusted several times daily. Therefore, the odds of winning, while still random, are different before and after that change, and one is better than the other. The task of the modern-day slot machine advantage player is to figure out which is which. Are the best odds in the morning, afternoon, or evening? Is it on busy days at the casino or non-busy days? On a holiday evening or the morning after a holiday? Modern casino operating systems have much more excellent control over slot machines than ever before. While this slot machine control is by a computer, the computer is itself controlled by humans. And humans love to tinker. And humans also make mistakes. Rather than explain my winning slots strategies based on casino business practices here, I'll refer you to my many website articles and podcast episodes on this topic. The types of advantage plays are effectively endless, but they all have one common disadvantage. Sooner or later, they stop working. Why? Because sometimes an advantage play is a disadvantage for someone or something else. If a business practice is an advantage play, or even if it's not going too well, it's not uncommon for a business to shut it down. Therefore, there's also a time limit on how long it lasts, making it more of a promotion than a business practice. Because individual advantage plays stop working eventually, successful APs keep working on the next advantage play. For APs, figuring out advantage plays is a never-ending process. But as with most situations, there's an advantage play for this too. Some advantage plays go unnoticed because they are not dramatic. Any disadvantage to the casino is so small that it goes unnoticed. Put another way, the weakest advantage plays last the longest. One massive jackpot would be wonderful, but does it matter if it takes a year or two to make the same gaming profit at a much less noticeable level? Being less noticeable now is better for future advantage plays. Some advantage plays are a change in perspective. Casino operators see a reduced workforce and daily performance metrics as their advantage play. That some modern APs, such as myself, have turned those business practices on their head doesn't matter to the casino. As I previously mentioned, advantage players consider the time and cost of an advantage play versus its potential profit. As advantage players themselves, casino operators make these same calculations with their millions or billions of dollars in gaming revenue. As with card counting, casinos adapted to players using that advantage play. In return, card counters wore disguises. Then casinos added more decks. And then players figured out the math for using packs of decks. And so it went, back and forth, until we now have casino surveillance of card games, pattern recognition, automatic shufflers of a large number of decks, or even infinite decks. Slot machine advantage plays, although more secretive, have already had to deal with counter responses from casinos. While casinos had good business reasons to switch over from coins to ticket-in, ticket-out readers, doing so had a major impact on coin drop sequence advantage plays, whether they were effective advantage plays or not. Modern slot machine advantage plays, which currently work, will stop working because casinos will develop countermeasures or change their business practices for some other reason. They do that, you know. I've seen this happen. For me, some significant advantage plays went away after 9 months, but I responded by figuring out the next advantage play. That's what all APs, modern or not, do. And maybe the new slot machine advantage plays I figured out and used successfully, my winning slot strategies on my website, will work at other casinos for you. I'm sharing them for 2 reasons. First, I have a well-paid aerospace engineering day job, which prevents me from using my winning strategies elsewhere, outside of an occasional weekend getaway. Second, I'm doing that thing which APs do. I've determined that it is an advantage play to share this information with you. With enough time and effort, there is a potential profit in serving a community of slots players. I hope so anyway. I've got massive student loans to pay, and if I have a large audience who's willing to fork over $20 for complete explanations on various advantage plays, then maybe I'll have a chance to retire in my lifetime. In any case, advantage plays have always been a bit mysterious because sharing them is counterproductive to winning at slots when using them. But sharing is caring, so I've written this article on understanding advantage play slots from a modern-day perspective. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Up next is the second segment of the show on slot machine casino gambling. Here I provide a brief overview of the current state of gambling in a U.S. state, territory, or the federal district, emphasizing, by far, anything of interest to slot machine casino gamblers. Up next is Alabama slot machine casino gambling in 2019. This will be the third time I've started the series through from the beginning on the states. So Alabama is the first state in the third series. Here goes. Alabama slot machine casino gambling consists of 4 casinos with Class 2 bingo-style gaming machines where players on the casino floor compete with one another. These 4 casinos include 1 pari-mutuel wagering casino and 3 tribal casinos. No theoretical payout limits exist, nor are return statistics publicly available. The minimum legal gambling age in Alabama depends upon the gambling activity. For land-based casinos and poker rooms, it's 21. For bingo and pari-mutuel wagering, it's 18. And for the lottery, it's not available. Why? Because there's no state lottery available in Alabama. The legal nature of gaming machines in Alabama has been contentious, but has appeared to have settled down since 2016. Here's a brief timeline. August of 2010. Victory Land temporarily closes. October of 2010. The state of Alabama has arrested Victory Land owner Milton McGregor along with 10 state senators and lobbyists. 2012. Victory Land reopens with bingo-style gaming machines. 2013. Victory Land owner Milton McGregor is acquitted of all charges. 2013. Victory Land is raided and 1,615 gaming machines are seized by the state. 2015, the court dismisses all civil forfeiture charges. 2016, Victory Land reopens to a large crowd. It's interesting to note the judge's statement about dismissing the civil forfeiture charges. The judge stated, in part, that the state had belatedly targeted Victory Land while ignoring other facilities with gaming machines. Up next is a usually short statement about slot machine private ownership, which I've included in case you live in this U.S. state and are considering owning a slot machine. Here it is. Private ownership of a traditional Class 3 slot machine in Alabama is illegal. However, it is legal to own a Class 2 competition-style gaming machine privately. Alabama has 4 racing commissions located in Birmingham, Greene County, Macon County, and Mobile County. Each commission regulates pari-mutuel wagering and simulcast betting in their local municipality. Regulation of tribal casinos in Alabama is by the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, IGRA, of 1988, a federal law. One of the requirements of the IGRA for Class 3 Vegas-style gaming is that the state not prohibit such gambling. Alabama's state constitution bans all forms of gambling, but subsequent exceptions were made for pari-mutuel racing in 1971 and charitable bingo in 1980. The Porch Band of Creek Indians cannot offer Class 3 Vegas-style slot machines because they are not otherwise available in Alabama. The same situation exists for table games. If either become available in Alabama, the federal IGRA allows the Porch Band to attempt to negotiate a state tribal compact. They currently have no compact. There is 1 non-tribal casino, 3 American Indian tribal casinos, and 1 international cruise ship based in Alabama with electronic gaming machines. All 3 land-based casinos have Class 2 bingo-style gaming machines. The largest casino in Alabama is Quincy's 777 Casino in Victory Land Greyhound Park, having over 1,000 gaming machines and no table games. The second largest casino is Wind Creek Casino and Hotel, Wetumpka, having over 2,500 gaming machines and, again, no table games. In this next section, I'll discuss Alabama gambling establishments. Non-tribal casinos in Alabama with gaming machines include one Racino and one cruise ship. The pari-mutuel wagering facility with simulcast betting and a separate casino with Class II bingo-style gaming machines is Quincy's 777 Casino at Victoryland Greyhound Park in Shorter, located 25 miles east of Montgomery. The Carnival Fantasy cruise ship, with its onboard casino, departs from Mobile, Alabama, to the Caribbean and the Panama Canal. When cruising in international waters, it offers Class III Vegas-style slot machines and table games to players at least 18 years of age. There are 3 American Indian casinos in Alabama with Class II competition-style gaming machines owned and operated by the Porch Band of Creek Indians, including 1. Wind Creek Casino and Hotel Atmore, located 50 miles northeast of Mobile. 2. Wind Creek Casino and Hotel Wetumpka, located 20 miles northeast of Montgomery. And 3. Wind Creek Casino and Hotel Montgomery. As an alternative to enjoying Alabama slot machine casino gambling, consider exploring casino options in a nearby state. Bordering Alabama is to the north, Tennessee, to the east, Georgia, to the south, Florida, and to the west, Mississippi. To visit any of my articles on these U.S. states, simply visit ProfessorSlots.com followed by its 2-letter postal designation. For example, my Tennessee slots article is available at ProfessorSlots.com/TN. Are you interested in sharing and learning with other slots enthusiasts in Alabama? If so, join our new Alabama Slots community on Facebook at ProfessorSlots.com/FBAL. All you'll need is a Facebook profile to join this closed Facebook group freely. There, you'll be able to privately share your slots experiences as well as chat with players about slots gambling in or near Alabama. Again, use this convenient link I've created to go directly to our group on Facebook, ProfessorSlots.com/FBAL. Join us. No theoretical payout limits exist for land-based casinos in Alabama. Its Racino does not make actual return statistics publicly available, either through the state or otherwise. Without a tribal state gaming compact, tribal casinos do not have a legal limit for their payout returns. Further, federal law does not require them to provide return statistics. Alabama slot machine casino gambling consists of 4 land-based casinos with Class II bingo-style competition gaming machines and 1 casino cruise ship to international destinations. No theoretical return limits exist, nor are actual payout statistics made publicly available. Over the last year, there has been no significant changes in the gaming industry in Alabama. However, on March 25, 2018, Milton McGregor, who I have mentioned, died at the age of 78. He had established the Victoryland and Birmingham Racecourse pari-mutuel wagering facilities. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Part 1 of the next episode of the Professor Slots podcast is going to be about my upcoming publishing schedule. Spoiler alert, I'll be going live on my YouTube channel on Saturday afternoons each week going forward. Tune in to my next podcast, episode number 64, coming a week from today on Saturday, November 23rd, for more details as to when and where I'll be going live. Or if you just want to listen to the audio afterwards, I'll be sharing that recording the following day as podcast episode number 65. To suggest a topic or ask a question which might end up as a blog article or as a podcast episode, email it to john@professorslots.com, where John is spelled Jon, or by calling 702-90-SLOTS to leave a voicemail. Part 2 of the next episode of the Professor Slots podcast is another brief overview of the current state of gambling in a U.S. state, territory, or the federal district. Next time, I'll be talking to you about the great U.S. territory of American Samoa in the South Pacific. That's the end of another great episode of the Professor Slots podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Show notes for this episode are now available within most podcast apps, but are also available on my website at ProfessorSlots.com/episode 63. I plan to have the next episode come out very, very soon for you. We'll have more amazing content for the show. Until the next episode, have fun, be safe, and make good choices. Bye.